Good afternoon. I'm Libby Sonia Neto, the Executive Director for the Louisiana Policy Institute for Children, a 501c3 organization that really, we have the belief that a stronger Louisiana starts with successful children. We really appreciate you taking time out of your busy schedules to spend some time with us on our webinar related to investing in Louisiana's youngest citizens. Our mission here at the Policy Institute surrounds advancing policies to ensure that Louisiana's youngest children are ready not only for school, but also for success in life. And we really envision a Louisiana in which all young children birth through age 4 are safe, they're healthy, and they're able to reach their full potential. And we do this through our work, where we seek to be a source of nonpartisan, independent information on issues concerning children ages birth through 4 in Louisiana. And in this work, we recently conducted a poll related to Louisiana voters. And in this poll of Louisiana voters, we found that 62% of likely Louisiana voters across all regions support increasing child care funding. Additionally, we saw that 54% of likely voters, they would vote to reelect their state legislator if they voted to increase funding for child care. As well as 62% of likely Louisiana voters across all ideologies supported to increase child care funding. And so what that led us to is that this really is a bipartisan issue. And you can see here from quotes from Representative Walt Leger this past legislative session, where he said, you know, we all recognize that 90% of brain development happens between birth and age 4. Funding high quality early care and education really is the best way to put our state on a trajectory that changes the future of Louisiana. And this is where we need to be investing. On the other side, Senator Conrad Appel shared, you know, conservatives are recognizing that unless a child has the proper support and fundamental education, they will have no reasonable expectation of success. In the waning days of the legislative session, this new wave of conservative thought is revealed that in the growing demand for funding of early childhood education programs. And so this bipartisan issue really fundamentally is also a business issue for the first 5 years of life. And it's a business issue because it's a workforce productivity issue. So in our state, 67% of children birth through age 4 have both parents or their single parent in the workforce, as well as 61% of infants, mothers, go back to work within their first year of life. And then on top of that, childcare in Louisiana costs almost as much as a public college annual tuition, approximately about $7,500 a year. And so yes, it is a productivity issue. And because it's a productivity issue, we wanted to study really what are the gaps in reliable, affordable, quality care that affect the efficiency and the output of the Louisiana's workforce. And so we conducted this research report called Losing Ground, really looking at how childcare impacts Louisiana's workforce, their productivity, and the state economy. And in this report, we found that over 16% of respondents have had issues with their jobs over childcare, and they had to quit their job. And almost 8% of respondents reported being fired over childcare issues, and then nearly 14% turned down a promotion at work because of childcare issues. It's a workforce participation issue. Additionally, almost half the parents, both men and women, missed work regularly due to childcare issues in the last 3 months. So they either missed work, they were tardy, or they had to leave early because of childcare issues. Again, this is a productivity issue. And then childcare issues cost employers in the state. For Louisiana, it's resulted in $816 million annual loss for employers, as well as $1.1 billion annual loss for the economy, and $84 million in annual loss in tax revenue. It's costing our state and employers money. It's become such a big issue that the U.S. Chamber of Commerce, their foundation, issued a report and citing our report about losing ground related to the crucial groundwork for tomorrow's workforce and promoting a strong workforce for today, and that high quality childcare provides a powerful two-generation approach to building the human capital that is prosperous and sustainable that America requires. And so the workforce of tomorrow, what happens in the early years matters most, because we know from neuroscientists that 80% of brain development happens between birth and age 3. We also know that brains are built over time from the bottom up, and that early experiences affect the quality of brain architecture, and that they can establish either a sturdy or a fragile foundation for all learning, health, and behavior that follow. The brain really is like the foundation of a house. If it's not built right the first time, it's difficult and it's expensive to fix it later. And so what we know from nearly 50 years of early childhood research is that there have been significant academic and social benefits throughout the life course. And so if we think about infancy to midlife around age 45, what we know is that when children have access to high quality early care and education, that they have increased rates of intelligence, they tend to read and have better math skills. They have better academic locus of control, meaning that they believe that they have control over the work that they do and what they can learn. So additional things that we found with significant academic and social benefits throughout the life course were that we have reduced rates of grade repetition, reduced rates of special education placement, reduced rates of teen pregnancies, as well as smoking and drug use, teen depression, welfare use, reduced rates of overweight BMI, and reduced rates of risky behaviors. And so the economist's takeaway is this, is that there's a return on investment in high quality programs for children birth to age 5 when they have access to high quality early care and education. And that return on investment that we widely hear just about daily is that it's a 13% return on investment. Dr. Heckman is also saying now that he is seeing, depending on which model that he uses, a 14 to 16% return on investment. And I don't know about you all, but there are not many places that I can put $1 of my hard-earned money where I would get a return on investment of 13 to 16%. We know that early matters and quality matters. Additionally, you'll see here that early childhood, again, yields a good return on investment. And you can see in this graph that when we spend it early, the return is greater than when we pump money later into the life course. So again, early matters. And so early care and education in Louisiana, we know that pre-K 4 for at-risk 4-year-olds that we're serving in Louisiana, over 90% of our at-risk 4-year-olds statewide. But that funding has to be protected each year, and an unintentional consequence has been that really making childcare more expensive. Louisiana shines with our school readiness tax credits. So we shine with the school readiness tax credits. Additionally, these tax credits are a creative package of tax credits that are unique really to Louisiana and have received national recognition. There are not many places that people from the Policy Institute go where they don't ask us about the school readiness tax credits. And what they do is they provide economic incentives directly linked to improvement in the quality of early care and education, and at the amount of around $17 million. And so we're able to use that $17 million in tax credits as a state match for the over $80 million in federal dollars of the Child Care and Development Fund grant. Where we also shine is in Act 3 reforms. Early Childhood Education Act of 2012 mandated an overhaul of the early education system. And since 2012, we've done several things. We've been able to move all the funding and programs to the Louisiana Department of Education under the State Board of Education. We've been able to align standards across programs. as well as we've created and implemented one rating system for all publicly funded early care and education programs, meaning Head Start, Early Head Start, child care, and pre-K, and have made it mandatory. And we've created a new minimum certification for lead child care teachers in publicly funded programs. We've really shined in these areas. In addition, the Bipartisan Policy Center ranked Louisiana number 8 in the nation for creating a coordinated and integrated early care and education system. But where we fall short? Well, where we fall short is that early care and education is out of reach for most children in need in Louisiana under age 4, and that the number of children served by the Child Care Assistance Program has dropped from nearly 40,000 children to 15,000 children today, and that right now that there are over 3,000 children on the Child Care Assistance wait list. Child care in Louisiana, again, costs almost as much as public college tuition. And by contrast, 68% of young children have both parents or their single parent in the workforce. And that 35% of Louisiana children actually enter kindergarten already behind. So what can you do? Particularly those who are candidates running for an elected official position. What you can do is you can have a comprehensive approach to increasing access to quality early care and education on your platforms. That is required by supporting a bipartisan Louisiana Early Child Care and Education Commission LAB to 3 plan to make child care more affordable for working families by investing $86 million of funding annually to increase the access from 22,000 to 177,000 children under age 4 in need of child care over the next decade. Additionally, you can further increase infant and toddler child care reimbursement rates, really to reflect the true cost of quality care. And so while it costs families near the same amount as a publicly funded college tuition, what we know is that it actually costs greater than that to provide quality care and education. Additionally, you can work towards increasing pay for early childhood educators and child care centers. What we know is that the median wage for child care teachers is $8.95 an hour. And through the mechanisms of school readiness tax credits, that we can help this. Also, what you could do as a candidate is review existing dedicated funds and identify opportunities to redirect them to quality early care and education. And you can commit to early care and education as a top priority for any new or expanded revenue in our state. And so, Louisiana Policy Institute for Children is a member of the Ready Louisiana Coalition. And this coalition is a bipartisan statewide coalition of businesses, advocacy organizations, and early education professionals, as well as parents and citizens, really seeking sufficient investment in quality, affordable early care and education in Louisiana. What we just shared with you were platform planks. There are nearly 60 organizations that have signed on to support quality early care and education. Thank you all for your time. We have time now for questions that you can either use in the text box, or I can take everybody off mute and you can share one at a time.